How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, yeah, you will fully understand what that title is all about. I want the royal family to keep this word on your frontal lobe deeply. We're going to meet this word back effectively. Okay? We're going to hear this word a lot coming from the coon's mouth. Now, what the royal family is about to witness is the enemy throwing whatever that they can throw in our face so they can continue to benefit from a dying system. So this is the enemy supporters now getting ready to speak to us. These are these gatekeepers that we know a lot about. Now, let's not lose sight. There are going to be things that are going to be said that is spot on. But trust and believe the very people that are saying it pay attention to their positions. In order for them to be in the position that they are in this system, they had to demonstrate something so great to the enemy that they took notice, that they said, okay, we can use this. This is exactly what we can use in our system. So they don't mind investing in their system because their system works for them. And that makes sense. I have often said, everything that the enemy is doing to us in this system, that's exactly what they're supposed to do. And I say these things to piss you off and for us to never, ever lose sight. So don't, and y'all pretty savvy, don't let even our own, because they have demonstrated to us how far they will go so they can make sure individually their immediate situation ain't effective. Oh yeah, they go above and beyond. They embody the beast to the point that the beast like, damn, I don't even really have to watch them because they gon' buck. So let's get into this, but don't lose sight of that word.
In law enforcement, we feel the pain. We feel the same pain that every one of our members in our community and individuals across this nation is feeling as it relates to Mr. George Floyd. 800,000 members of law enforcement, that's how many exist in this country, watched an individual who shares the same uniform, wears the same badge that we wear. We watched him murder another individual with reckless regard for human life and with no empathy. And what we came to realize, and I think most of us always did, that there are challenges in law enforcement. We have to admit, acknowledge, atone for the things that we've seen in law enforcement. And although there has been many.
So let's not lose sight, my royal family. And we know who she is. She was, I think her name is Renee. She was the one that was trying to give her out to Amber Geiger. But when you pay close attention to language, she's considering all of law enforcement family. All right? Well, me personally, I'm different. I consider family, family. I ain't never went to no damn job and said, this is my family. So you already coming out the gate on that round table coon shit.
Many strides and many moves in our organization to stamp out this behavior. It exists in our agencies, and it exists because systemically and culturally, policing has some challenges. And so what we recognize in law enforcement today, and I'm thankful for the men and women in the city of Dallas who has worked alongside of even councilmen for the last 3 years to come to the table and identify some of the challenges that we face in broken relationships. Our policing strategies over the years has created a wedge between law enforcement and our community, and we have to work to fix it, and we've been doing the work. So that's not the question of whether we're doing the work or not. We have advisory boards, we have stakeholder meetings where individuals come and tell us what they want to see different in our organizations, and we've made every effort and changes in those areas within our general orders, but it's bigger than that. We have to acknowledge that we need early warning systems in our police departments to ensure that we are able to mitigate any challenges that officers are having very early on, or look at some of the issues that may be prevalent right away. An early warning system that notifies a supervisor immediately when an officer has 3 or more instances or incidents in 1 month, so that we can get in, intervene, mitigate, get the right services, or say that this individual is not fit for law enforcement. Additionally, we have to be more transparent. When things happen in our organizations, we have to be able to push that information out. One of the things we're working on is a video release policy to make sure that within 24 to 48 hours when a officer-involved shooting or a critical incident happens, that we can get that information to the public. There are challenges, whether it is the legal system with the DA in pushing this case forward or trying it, in those challenges, but I can say thank you, DA Crusoe. We've been working to figure out how we can do this and how we can do this effectively, so that everyone has a bird's eye view into what we're doing in our agency. We have to become a legitimate organization that our residents, business leaders can truly trust and believe in. And we only do that by being as transparent as we possibly can. We also have some systems in place that keep law enforcement officers who should not be on our department. We can, as chiefs, terminate individuals, and then we have a system that brings them right back into our organizations. And we also have individuals in our organization who cannot testify in court, but they're still parts of our organization. And so we have to say, if your integrity doesn't line up with what we do in law enforcement, then we have to make some tough decisions. I will stand by the fact that the Dallas Police Department has some of the best police officers in this country. And the majority of us, the large majority of us, show up every day with the right intentions. But the ones that don't, we have to have a swift system that allows us to get rid of these individuals, because everything someone does in law enforcement, it doesn't matter if they're in Portland, Maine, or in Los Angeles, California, it affects everyone wearing this uniform. So we cannot afford to have systems in place that tie our hands. We have work to do. We haven't always done it right. Sitting in this seat, I've gotten it wrong on some occasions. But what we do in those instances is we acknowledge it, we own it, we fix it so we can move forward.
I want to say that I think that we all recognize and acknowledge that we have a long way to go, and that there is no magic pill. If it were, then we'd come forth with it and we'd say, okay, here's the magic pill and all of our issues be resolved. But instead it is a process. And so this is what we have started here today. It's all about a process where we have those difficult discussions, and we have to reach a point where we are comfortable in having uncomfortable conversations. I was thinking about the fact that we're all cloaked in our masks today. And I don't know about you, but it's very uncomfortable for me. It starts to get on my nerves after a while, frankly. And so I take it off. But although it's uncomfortable, it is something that has to be done. It is something that is necessary, something that we have to do. And so this is like the process. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. It's something that we have to do. And we as law enforcement leaders must set the example. I have a scripture that I love to recite to my people, and it simply says that to whom much is given, much is required. That means simply that as law enforcement officers, we have to recognize that we have been given great responsibility. And because we have been given great responsibility, we have great responsibility to answer for our actions. That means that we have to be accountable for what it is that we do. And so even today, I'm thinking, how do we take what it is that has happened, not just recently, but things that have happened in the past, those flashpoints in law enforcement, how can we take those and insert those into our basic training and teach our folks who are coming through from the beginning what it is to truly be a trusted law enforcement officer? So I think that what we have to do is we have to work on the training that we're giving to our officers. In addition, we have to continue to be accountable to our community. And furthermore, we have to interact with our community in instances where it's not necessarily an enforcement action. We have to be in the community. We have to go to the people, and we have to learn our people. Because, you know, people fear what they don't know. And so if we don't know one another, we tend to fear one another. So that's why it's important for us to get out into the communities and to continue our community policing and not let it just be a catchphrase, not let it just be something that a couple of people in each department participate in. It needs to be a philosophy, and it needs to be one that is genuine, one that is clear, and one that says not only to the community, but to the employees of the police department that we are involved in the community, we care about the community, we are the community.
I am a black man, and even if I did not have a mirror, I'm reminded of it when I turn on the TV. Even if I didn't have a TV, I'm reminded of it when I get in my car and drive to work. Even if I didn't have a car, even if I didn't listen to the radio when I'm at work, and someone says, "Hey, can I call you Jay?" as opposed to Jay Swarobo, I'm reminded I'm a black man. Not only that, but I experienced racism, even on a microaggressive level. We're here talking about policing, but I think we need to have a larger conversation, and let's start here. A policeman that makes an error in judgment gets a second chance. A black man and a woman that makes an error in judgment gets prison time. Let's start there. Many of those lapses in judgment are crimes out of poverty. I grew up in the 90s as the mayor and chief, and I have friends who were introduced to the jail to prison pipeline in elementary school and in junior high due to going to reform school. I have friends who lost the ability to go to college because of the fact that they were arrested and convicted on drug charges, and as a result could not get federal student aid. I think as a senator, you could change the law tomorrow, removing the question of asking someone that fills out the free federal aid form if they have a drug conviction. Let's talk about the opioid epidemic. We're showing a lot of compassion for those that are suffering from opioids. What happened to the compassion for those that were suffering from crack? We talk about where are the fathers? A lot of the fathers are in jail. Why are they in jail? For committing crimes out of poverty. I grew up in a single parent household. Luckily, I had a grandfather that was there for me every day. A lot of black men weren't as fortunate as I am. But one thing that we have to understand is that there's a difference between a crime of malice and a crime out of poverty. No one wants to be a drug dealer. No child decides that when I grow up I want to be a drug dealer. And most drug dealers barely make enough money to take care of the basics. But when you have a young man he sees his mother breaking her neck every day to try to take care of the family, and he can't get a job, he has limited options, what does he do? He does whatever it takes in order to take care of his family. You have young men who are skilled in accounting, marketing, and sales, and they can't get a job in a Fortune 500 company because of the fact that they have a conviction on their record. And they can't go to college because of that conviction. But we have to talk about the fact that if we really want to fix policing, we have to fix our criminal justice system. Because our criminal justice system is designed to punish, not rehabilitate. We have to allow people second chances, true second chances. You should be able to take part in the American dream just as anyone else. And for far too long, the black community has lived in a different America. An America where you look outside of your neighborhood and you see a war zone of over-policing, crime, poverty, food deserts, substandard education. But then you turn on the TV and you see this glory that's America, this miracle. Where's the miracle for them? Our community has lost faith in institutions and leaders. We saw in the last presidential election that there were more people that didn't vote than did. That shows you that there is a lack of faith in our governments. We have to earn trust. Right now, the conscience of our nation is speaking. There are people speaking in all 50 states on Black Lives Matter. And I think that one of the things that no one should ever mention is that all lives matter. That should not be mentioned from anyone's lips until we recognize that Black lives matter. Because until Black lives matter, all lives don't matter.
Okay, my royal family. So, we got a sample of round table cooning. And there will be more to come. Because like I said, what the enemy now is doing, they are trying to find an effective way of policing. So, I said let's not lose sight of this word, effectively. So, I've been hearing that from the enemy and the enemy supporters' mouth. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks. What they were truly saying. What they were truly saying, and let's get over here, is how can we effectively and continue to kill the black man in the streets of America? Or how can we effectively keep doing what we're doing to the entire royal family? We gotta think so far out the box because they still want to keep everything intact. And see, they done sprung up also because they worried about them coins, which is our tax dollars. So they gotta come up with a plan how to effectively police us. And even though it may seem like those folks again are speaking earnest, trust and believe they shaking. Because they thinking, did I say too much? But then they're also saying, Massa, I'm willing to effectively work with you policing our own. Because trust and believe, the ones that are compromised tells the enemy deep, intimate things about our kings and our queens and our royals. So they got to effectively communicate this ass kicking or killing. They got to effectively communicate it to us. Relentlessly? Oh, yeah. Relentlessly. That's what we've been feeling. That tyranny, being bone weary, because they never let up. Simplify. Simplify it and be direct about how they're going to go about taking us out. Listen and encourage and input. So basically, you want us to step in and you're going to listen to you. Are you asking to listen to us? How to effectively get our own self taken out? They saying that too. And how they're saying that by these community-based programs where they listen in. Because trust and believe, there's agents and gatekeepers and all of that. All right? So they communicate that back to their base. Illustrate through stories. Well, the way I take that, they're going to use what they're going to use. If they got to speak it, they got to put up a video, they got to do a song, they got to put up a bulletin, anything where that is being effectively communicated to the royal family. And then affirm with actions. So then what they will say is, well, we used this guideline, we kept it very simple, and which is their 4-phase plan, and you can go check the list, and everything we did was in lock and step. So once we kill your black ass, there is no way that you can get upset with us. And they're going to affirm with actions. Yes, they're going to affirm that. You know, they're going to like look at the cameras and they're going to go teeny and say, see, we didn't do nothing wrong. And then they'll even have people in the community sit there and start watching them videos, and then we get immune to the fuckery. So, it's very, very simple. They trying to revise. And it will look like and give the appearance of something new. But it's not. Because you got to remember the system, even though it's dying, we living under. The only way that this effectively can be done is for this system to be effectively removed, totally, along with the very people that built this system and the coons too. So you can have your round table meetings and all of that shit. It ain't working. Remember what I said, my royal family. You can't satisfy royalty at all, ever. You stay your ass on that throne. Don't care what they throw at us. Hocus pocus. Because we know what you on. We know what you on. Oh yes, we know exactly what you on. Once you think you have effectively communicated all of this and go down these steps. And really and truly, it's utter insanity. They have never did it with any other group. You know, they keep talking about communities. No. You're talking about one Pacific community. You got problems with one Pacific community overall. And so you dumbfounded and you don't know what to come up with because you want to continue to be relentless about what you do to keep us in a certain state. This is what this is all about. We need to stop talking to them, period. We didn't had these meetings when my mother was in the Panthers marching up and down the streets of California, specifically San Francisco. Power to the people. And we still ain't moved a damn inch. Yeah, you see black folks living in different neighborhoods, driving different vehicles, having certain jobs, but the same thing going on. It's a charade, my royal family. So all this stuff that you throwing at us, Esau, when you gonna throw her out in them streets? And your babies? You becoming the tail. And just your sheer thinking fucks you up. My royal family, I have often said, speak very clear in the universe what you really want to happen to the enemy. It's time for the enemy to atone. So all of these gestures are not working at all, ever. Ever. So I'll leave it there, my royal family. Render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And it's always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.